criminology grad student turned confessed killer, no trial, no death sentence, just a shocking plea that flips this case on its head. This isn't just another true crime update. It's the moment the story changed forever. Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of stealthily stabbing 4 University of Idaho students in their beds in November 2022, has done the unthinkable. After claiming innocence for months, fighting evidence suppression, and staring down a possible firing squad, he's now pleaded guilty. And here's the twist nobody saw coming: no death penalty. Stick around, this is where justice met surprise. It was the early hours of Sunday, November 13th, 2022. In a small rental home on King Road in Moscow, Idaho, a brutal, silent massacre unfolded. 4 students from the University of Idaho, Kaylee Goncalves, Madison Mogen, Zana Kernadel, and Ethan Chapin were stabbed to death while they slept or moments after waking. No one called for help. No one heard screaming. The killer moved quickly and vanished. For days, police were baffled. The nation watched in horror as a quiet college town turned into a crime scene straight out of a nightmare. No arrests, no suspects, just a house full of blood and silence. Bryan Kohberger was not some drifter or runaway. He was a 28-year-old PhD student in criminology studying at Washington State University, just a short drive from the crime scene. He had a quiet voice, a stiff presence, and a disturbing curiosity about the criminal mind. In fact, before the murders, he posted surveys online asking ex-convicts how they felt during their crimes. What emotions, what thoughts, what impulses. To some, it seemed academic, but to detectives it became a clue. After weeks of investigation, law enforcement zeroed in. Kohberger's white Hyundai Elantra was caught on surveillance near the house. His DNA was found on a knife sheath left at the crime scene, and his cell phone records showed a haunting pattern. He had driven past that home dozens of times, even at night before the murders. This wasn't random. It was methodical and chilling. On December 3rd, 2022, Bryan Kohberger was arrested in Pennsylvania, thousands of miles from Moscow, Idaho. No resistance, no dramatic chase, just a man quietly taken into custody. The evidence was overwhelming, a digital and physical trail leading straight to him. Police recovered the murder weapon's sheath with his DNA, his vehicle near the scene, and his incriminating online activity. In court, prosecutors painted him as a calculated predator, someone who meticulously planned the killings. The community braced for a high-profile trial, expecting a battle over evidence and the death penalty looming. But Kohberger's next move shocked everyone. After months of legal wrangling and delays, on June 30th, 2025, everything changed in a single courtroom moment. Bryan Kohberger stood before the judge and pleaded guilty to all 4 counts of first-degree murder. No dramatic confession speech, no excuses, just a cold, calculated acceptance of responsibility. But the real surprise: in exchange for his plea, the state agreed not to seek the death penalty. Instead, Kohberger will serve 4 consecutive life sentences without parole, spending the rest of his life behind bars. This was a deal struck to avoid the uncertainties of a long, painful trial. A deal that left many stunned and divided. Many are asking, why spare a man accused of such a brutal crime? The answer lies in the risks and realities of the justice system. Prosecutors faced the possibility of a lengthy trial with unpredictable outcomes, hung juries, appeals, or even mistrials. Such battles drain time, money, and reopen fresh wounds for the victims' families. Some family members reportedly preferred to avoid the trauma of reliving the horror in court. By securing a guaranteed life sentence, the state ensured Kohberger would never leave prison without the uncertainty of death row appeals. This plea deal reflects a grim balance between justice, closure, and legal strategy. The families of the victims faced this plea with heavy hearts. Kaylee Goncalves' family released a statement. No sentence will ever bring Kaylee back, but we find some peace knowing we won't have to endure a trial that drags our pain into the spotlight again. Other families echoed the need for privacy and healing. The legal battle may be ending, but the grief remains raw. For them, the guilty plea is both a relief and a reminder justice has been served, but the scars will never fully heal. With his guilty plea accepted, Kohberger now faces the rest of his life in a maximum security prison. He will serve 4 life sentences back to back with no chance for parole or early release. The death penalty is off the table, but the punishment remains severe and unyielding. Psychiatric evaluations are expected, but barring any major legal changes, this chapter of his life closes behind bars forever. For the state of Idaho, this is the final legal word on one of the most chilling cases in recent memory. This case wasn't just about 4 tragic deaths in a small college town. It touched a nerve because it combined elements almost too disturbing to believe. A killer who was a criminology student, someone who studied violence and criminal minds, turning those lessons into real life horror. The randomness of the victims, all young students just trying to live their lives, made it feel terrifyingly close to home for many. Media coverage exploded early, making Bryan Kohberger a household name. His every move, every court appearance was followed by millions. Social media buzzed with theories, emotions ran high, and the justice system was under a microscope. In the end, the plea deal may have surprised many, but it also brought a swift, certain conclusion in a case that had gripped the public for over a year. This case reminds us how fragile safety can be and how the darkest secrets sometimes hide behind the most ordinary faces. With Bryan Kohberger's guilty plea, the court has closed the chapter on the legal battle. But the community, the families, and the nation are left to grapple with the aftermath. Questions about how someone so close to the academic world could commit such a heinous act will linger. There will be calls for better mental health support, campus safety reforms, and deeper investigations into warning signs. For the families, the focus now turns to healing, remembering their loved ones, and rebuilding lives shattered by violence. And for the rest of us, a stark reminder. Justice may be served, but the pain of loss never fully fades. If this case moved you, if you want more updates on true crime stories that matter, hit that subscribe button. Drop your thoughts below. Should Bryan Kohberger have faced the death penalty, or is life without parole enough? Stay alert, stay informed, and remember, every story has 2 sides and justice demands we listen to them all.